The boxy Jeep Cherokee XJ, a shockingly good Lemons car.
Really?
Really?
This is actually true, and this particular XJ team, Jeep Tricks, has been racing one in Lemons since 2015, and the list of problems they've had were mostly minor things like too much rear brake bias.
So one night over a beer or a dozen beers, somebody on the team just kind of jokingly said, well, yeah, maybe we should do a mid-engine conversion, put a little more weight back there.
So crazy it just might work.
Jeep Tricks is based in the Seattle area, and for their car projects, they rent a 2-car garage behind a dilapidated house. And one day, their landlord comes over and says, hey, do you guys want to buy the van next to the garage? And they're like, next to the garage? There's no van there. There's just like a scary alternate dimension or whatever.
But it turned out once they got over there, they removed 6 feet of bushes and dead bodies and Vecna and the Mind Flayer. Sure enough, there was a vehicle over there. It wasn't a van, however. It was a Jeep XJ Cherokee. And after filling out some convenient abandoned vehicle paperwork, it was all there.
So they prepped this Jeep for Lemons, and they gave it a Barbie Jeep theme, and the team is quick to point out that this was before the Barbie movie and all the hype surrounding it.
Yeah, but I started before it was cool.
I raced it with a stock bulletproof 4.0 straight six for quite a while, and then that fateful day when they came up with this brilliant idea for a mid-engine swap that probably wouldn't fix anything.
No, probably not.
So now they're looking for a donor motor, and their criteria were got to be more powerful than the Jeep motor. It's got to have a complete subframe containing the suspension, engine, and transmission so the whole thing could be installed as a unit. Oh, and it also had to be weird.
The 2005 Volvo S60s.
Ultimately, when you think Volvo S60, you go, well, I mean, there's a turbo, so that's got more power, right? All comes in a subframe cradle, and we should bolt right in, no problems. And it's Swedish, and it's hella weird. I mean, there's your choice.
So they hop on Facebook Marketplace, and of course they find 2 Volvo S60s, the turbocharged T5 model, and the normally aspirated 2.4i. That one had a manual transmission. So this is obvious what combination they're gonna make, the unbeatable joining of the turbo performance with the manual transmission. And as a bonus, both of these cars came with spun rod bearings for no extra cost.
At no cost?
Now, the team replaced the rod bearings of the turbo motor. They mated that to the gearbox of the non-turbo motor. They fabricated mounting points in the rear of the Jeep for the whole Volvo subframe. I mean, what could be easier?
I don't know.
As a side bonus, they recycled the unused automatic transmission back into the non-turbo donor car and actually got it running and driving. And it ran so well that they drove it without any issues straight to the pick and pull.
Now, the mods include a front axle swap from the Grand Cherokee 2WD-ZJ.
No shit.
In the rear, of course, fully independent, fully Swedish, fully Volvo, fully awesome.
Now, the first time they had this combination out on track, the team was faced with the strong possibility that they had actually made the car worse.
How is that even possible?
Now, the handling was totally squirrely. The inside front tire would lift like 6 inches off the ground. This thing was terrifying. But they slowly made some improvements. They got the spring rates all dialed in. They got some sway bars onto it. Eventually, they dialed this thing into the point where it was actually drivable. And that's good because they also think the engine is making the full 265 turbocharged horsepower now, which is a lot. Of course, that's only 265 horsepower when the ECU is not totally freaking out and melting down because the whole thing is bolted into a Jeep.
Does not compute.
As is typically the case in Lemons, something like a pink Barbie Jeep, engine swap or not, will garner some accolades, and the team has racked up a Judge's Choice, a Heroic Fix, and a Grand Prize Index of Effluency. If you want trophies, bring something weird.
Let's get weird! Let's get weird!
And now, remember that whole thing that started with a rear brake bias problem? Well, turns out that was a separate problem, totally unrelated to any of this. They fixed that too.
Every second you don't subscribe or watch one of these videos, another Vega is sent to the crusher. Won't you help us save Classic?